This Valentine's Day, the UPS Store certified packing experts are helping pack and ship all the ways we care. From the lovey-dovey XOXO gifts, gifts for your Galentine's gal pal, even pet gifts for doggy dearest. When you ship UPS Air at the UPS Store, your items arrive on time or your money back, guaranteed at no extra cost, exclusively at the UPS Store U.S. retail locations. Send your Valentine's on time at the UPS Store. Visit theupsstore.com/air guarantee for full details. Terms and conditions apply.
New CBS Sunday.
The Grammys, baby!
History will be made.
Live, unfiltered, unexpected.
Woo!
Bigger than ever.
I was a ghost.
Bigger stars, bigger performances. Music's biggest night is getting bigger.
Now you see what all the hype is about.
Trevor Noah hosts the Grammy Awards live.
Anything is possible.
CBS Sunday and streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is Optimal Living Daily. Embrace life's limitations to unlock life's promise by Jay and Heather Harrington of lifeandwhim.com. And I'm your personal narrator, Justin Malik, reading you articles every day of the year with my commentary at the end. So with that, let's get right to our next one as we optimize your life. Embrace life's limitations to unlock life's promise by Jay and Heather Harrington of lifeandwhim.com. In 1944, a 39-year-old Austrian man named Viktor Frankl and his wife Tilly were processed into the Auschwitz concentration camp. He spent approximately 18 months in the shackles of the Nazis, being shuttled from one camp to another before being liberated by American soldiers. Frankl survived the Holocaust, but his wife, mother, and brother did not. What is remarkable is that despite suffering such great trauma, Frankl went on to become one of the most important and influential neurologists and psychiatrists of the 20th century. In fact, it was the experience of spending time in captivity, experiencing suffering and deprivation, and watching some prisoners transcend their circumstances while others succumb to them, that set Frankl on a path to explore life's meaning and develop a renowned technique called logotherapy to help those in need overcome difficulty. Frankl's big insight, which surfaced at his lowest moment, was gained by observing the resilience of humanity and teaching others how to find meaning in life, even in the harshest of conditions. Find meaning through limitations. Frankl wrote, quote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way," end quote. The search for meaning, Frankl believed, is the primary motivational factor of humans. Frankl, of course, is not the first to explore life's big question, why are we here? For thousands of years, religious and secular scholars have attempted to answer this question. As Frankl observed, quote, "Religion is the ultimate search for meaning," end quote. The search for meaning in a world full of hardship is the thread that has bound philosophical study for thousands of years. Despite thousands of years of study from scholars, historians, and philosophers, from Buddha to Frankl, none of these existential questions have clear answers. The lack of clarity is what leads us to keep searching, reading, writing, and thinking about both the most ancient and enduring question: what is the purpose of life? Is it enlightenment? Should we strive for self-actualization? Are we here to serve others? Is there no purpose? Are we just passing through? We'll likely never know the answer. Indeed, what is likely is that the answer is unknowable. Frankl noted that finding the ultimate meaning of life, quote, necessarily exceeds and surpasses the finite intellectual capacities of man, end quote. But as Frankl observed, the struggle to make sense of it all is what makes life meaningful. Sigmund Freud believed that humans are motivated by their desire for pleasure. Frankl and others disagreed with Freud. They believed that life's purpose is derived not from life's bounty, but rather from its limitations. Discover purpose in the struggle. On the one hand, this seems like a gloomy outlook on life because limitations lead to the type of pain and suffering that Buddha described as the most enduring of human conditions. Because of limitations, in terms of health, happiness, relationships, and basic needs, humans suffer, at times, intolerably. On the other hand, limitations make life's purpose worth fighting for. We find meaning in the struggle, not in spite of it. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, quote, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering," end quote. In other words, the darker the darkness we experience, the brighter the light on the other side of it. We are meant to struggle because it's what leads us to learn and grow. Self-awareness of our own limitations is what calls us to help others. Because we struggle, we come to appreciate that others do too. We learn to teach and, more importantly, empathize with others who face tough odds. If our limitations aren't as severe as those of others, or if we've been fortunate enough to overcome them, then we're called to service. Quote, "The world is full of suffering. It is also full of overcoming it." Helen Keller. Turn lemons into lemonade. A life without struggle feels empty. It's an existence bereft of meaning and driven by self-interest rather than selflessness. Frankl observed that as societies increase their material comforts, the mental and emotional states of members of those societies tend to deteriorate. Frankl coined the term existential vacuum, which he described as, quote, "the feeling of the total and ultimate meaningless," end quote, to describe this condition. If we define ourselves by what we have and not by who we are and what we do, then we become trapped by our limitations, not set free by them. Stoic philosopher Epictetus counseled to, quote, "live so that our happiness depends as little as possible on external causes," end quote. To the extent that we suffer hardship, Epictetus urged us to look back and find the positives and make use of what happened. According to Epictetus, quote, "every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward and to invoke our own inner resources. The trails we endure can and should introduce us to our strengths," end quote. Viktor Frankl, in his seminal book, Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that, quote, "when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves," end quote. A happy life. Cognizance of limitations is what drives us to seek out new experiences. There's a concept in psychology called the mere exposure effect that biases us toward familiarity. It's a survival mechanism built into us as a result of our evolutionary past. Our ancestors were more likely to survive if they approached people and engaged in experiences that they perceived as non-life-threatening, so they stuck with what they knew. Mere survival is far less a concern in our modern world, but we still tend toward familiarity. It's what gets us stuck in the rut of routine, especially as we get older. By recognizing these limitations, however, we can break free of them and pursue new and novel experiences that lead to a rich and rewarding life. In a previous post, we discussed the importance of first moments, which provide the fuel for an interesting and happy life. If we recognize our tendencies toward the familiar, we then have the power to pursue the extraordinary. Quote, "life is the art of drawing without an eraser." John Gardner. Understanding and appreciating limitations is an important component of a happy life. It's important to dream big, but equally important to find as much contentment in the pursuit of dreams as you do in the realization of them. Things rarely go as planned, so if you get too caught up in your vision of what an idyllic life should look like, you'll often find yourself trapped in a sticky web of unrealistically high expectations. In other words, you need to learn to love the process of life, which is full of struggles and marked by obstacles, as much as you love dreaming up ideas about what an ideal life might look like. Happiness is found in life's journey, not necessarily in its destination. You just listened to the post titled, "Embrace Life's Limitations to Unlock Life's Promise" by Jay and Heather Harrington of lifeandwhim.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. If you're serious about optimizing your life, you need to understand what's happening inside your body. That's where Superpower comes in. Superpower sends a licensed professional to your home, or you visit a nearby lab, for one simple draw testing over 100 biomarkers, way more than a standard checkup. You get info on your heart, liver, thyroid, hormones, metabolism, vitamins, and even environmental toxins. What I love is that with Superpower, you get an actionable plan with supplement suggestions, nutritional guidance, and lifestyle adjustments. You'll discover your true biological age and track progress over your lifetime. Make this the year you stop guessing about your health with Superpower. Not only did Superpower reduce their price to just $199, but for a limited time, our listeners get an additional $20 off with code OLD. Head to superpower.com and use code OLD at checkout for $20 off your membership. After you sign up, they'll ask how you heard about them, so make sure to mention this podcast to support the show.
Rinse knows that greatness takes time, but so does laundry. So Rinse will take your laundry and hand deliver it to your door expertly cleaned. And you can take the time pursuing your passions. Time once spent sorting and waiting, folding and queuing, now spent challenging and innovating and pushing your way to greatness. So pick up the Irish flute or those calligraphy pens or that daunting beef Wellington recipe card and leave the laundry to us. Rinse. It's time to be great.
Thank you to Jay and Heather. They mentioned Viktor Frankl, whose book, Man's Search for Meaning, is probably one of the most popular and important books ever written, something worth checking out if you haven't already. And the purpose and struggle they talked about is something we hear on this show from time to time because it's really important. We spend so much of our lives trying to remove friction, pain, and struggles, trying to make everything as easy and comfortable as possible. But like they mentioned, a life without struggle will feel empty. It can be hard to swallow when we're actually going through it all, but when things have settled, it makes sense. I've said it before, but we need that resistance to grow. Just like with exercise, the weight is needed to get stronger. You can't be comfortable and also make gains. It doesn't work that way. We all need that kind of pain. So if you're facing a struggle or limitation today, hopefully this one can help you see it just as a roadblock. It might actually be the thing that gives your day, or maybe even your life, its meaning. Good stuff to think about, but that should do it for today. Thank you for being here and listening every day. It really means a lot. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.